Hey, very good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Sean.
This is Alex.
And you're listening to another Minisode on Coaster Kings A through Z. Today's letter is L for
Lost Gravity.
Jongens. Je durft niet.
Lost Gravity, onze nieuwe achtbaan. Je bent al lijp voordat je erin zit. Koop je tickets op walibi.nl. Walibi, hard gaan.
Lost Gravity is the first big dipper coaster from Mack Rides. It's kind of their alternate version of a Eurofighter.
Mm-hmm.
So small, compact, 2 rows of four seats side by side. Except for the cool thing about the Mack Big Dipper is that they have like little wing seats. And the wing seats, much kind of like Sky Rush, are floorless, which really is a nice touch. So just in general, we really like the trains because, like we said, they're kind of Eurofighter style, but they also have the over-shoulder lap bars. And with those wing seats, kind of gives a different experience. I'm personally too tall to ride the wing seats. I've actually only experienced Lost Gravity in the 4 center hardline seats. But Alex has the experience of riding on the outside. So.
It's a lot of fun. It's a great ride. And it's a good ride regardless of where you sit. It opened at Walibi Holland in 2016, and it had big shoes to fill. It's a tough act to follow everything that's already at that park. There's like some amazing Vacomas and like a killer Intamin, and now we've got like an Iron Horse coaster there too. So like, it was just an impressive step in an unlikely direction for a park with a very impressive coaster collection already. Unlike some of the rides already at the park, it's a looping coaster, but it's not as inversion heavy as other rides that were already there. In fact, in my mind's eye, I feel like I imagine this ride having more inversions than it actually has, but it actually just has 2, a 0G roll and a dive loop.
Well, what also really helps is, we'll go into it a little bit later, is kind of the color scheme. It kind of makes you think stuff is this where it isn't this. Kind of like the spaghetti bowls would do. Like if you were to look at Joker's Jinx, you probably think there's a whole lot more inversions than Joker's Jinx actually has. Looking at stats for Lost Gravity in particular, the coaster is 105 feet tall, 32 meters tall, 54 miles per hour is the top speed, which is 87 kilometers an hour. It's really one of the smaller coasters in the park, despite it being a pretty decent size. But for European standards, the lineup at Walibi Holland really is quite good. I'm a big fan of it.
I mean, that drop is killer. It's not the biggest or the fastest drop. It's almost an inversion. Maybe that's why I feel like the drop is
honestly, I get some people kind of, it really does give off kind of like the Bean and Wing coasters.
I was gonna say it's not quite as obvious as of a dive loop as like say Exploit, but
okay. So if we're gonna talk about the Mack Big Dipper, the second version that's Dynamite at Freizeitpark Pleun, that actually does have the dive loop in the beginning. So one is a drop, one is a dive loop. So I can imagine that for sure.
The theme for this ride is just classic Walibi Holland, and when I put the script together, I had a really hard time like articulating.
Yeah, I don't know if it's quite dystopian. It's just very industrial.
Industrial, but then there's a lot of there's propaganda, and it's like in the queue section where like it had all the abandoned vending machines all lined up, almost like a Stonehenge kind of thing. And then you're walking through the shipping containers, and the staircase up was like an abandoned escalator.
So I guess the cool thing is that the name really kind of describes the theme. The whole purpose of the art installation that is Lost Gravity, because I mean Walibi Holland really moved towards doing this art thing where they call it festivalization. But every area or every attraction to build is very like a modern art approach, and in this case the idea of Lost Gravity is that there is no gravity, but the gravity is in all sorts of angles. So you have like an upside down helicopter and like a school bus that's upside down, and then containers floating in the air, and then upside down patio furniture, like all this really weird conceptual art stuff and an industrial artsy vibe. It's very the Netherlands in my opinion.
And it's very Instagram.
It's really fun, kind of fun.
It's a compelling, interesting ride.
But that's kind of what it is. I mean, the wildest thing is having to go through that school bus. If you have the fast lane or whatever they call it. You have to climb through a school bus that has like all this like ink in it, kind of like demonstrating it's like in motion. And then it's really artsy. Yeah, I have to literally climb through that to get through the queue.
But you get into the station, it's like really polished, like really high modern.
I mean, the station's kind of basic, but I think what you talk about is like right before the station when you walk through that upstairs queue and it's mirrored.
Yeah.
And there are LED lights, and then you look. It's like this weird alternate universe thing. Yeah. It's kind of cool. I think it's super underrated.
Yeah, I agree. And the aesthetic of the ride doesn't concern itself with trying to explain to you what it is. It's just a vibe. And it turned out great.
It's kind of fun seeing where it is because it's in the Yukon area of the park, which was previously the plot occupied by
Draco. But it's a Tivoli. It's a single figure eight Tivoli, right?
Yeah, snake themed.
And that ride has had several themes. That's like it's on like its 5th iteration.
Yeah, exactly.
And in its 2nd location. So Draco was moved to the former location of the Flying Dutchman Gold Mine ride, which our Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 fans will recall as the little wild mouse in the corner of the park. In fact, it's part of the reason why those little steel mine car vehicles were even added to the game, was because of its existence at the time, Six Flags Holland. That mouse was relocated, I think, to a different company, this Alps park, or was it sold?
It went to Mer de Sable.
I can't even remember.
It's not company Des Alps, so they sold it to
it was sold, and then so they put the kiddie coaster there, and then in place of the kiddie coaster we have Lost Gravity.
Funny enough, because the kiddie coaster was right next to a swinging pirate ship that was also removed forward. It was all Yukon themed, but for a second. It was themed to Bugs Bunny for Six Flags, and then it got rethemed to Vox Bansin for Walibi Worlds, and then Walibi World was changed into Walibi Holland, and they got another retheme to a snake, if I'm not mistaken, and then it got moved over. Actually, I think it got moved over as part of changing to Walibi Holland, because they took out Flying Dutchman Gold Mine when they relaunched the park from Walibi World to Walibi Holland.
The plot for the kiddie coaster moved several years before Lost Gravity was built. Like the plot
so there was actually like a little event space and a petting zoo and a swinging ship right in front of the log flume, and that's where Lost Gravity sits now.
And in fact,
it's a cool thing.
Flashback has kind of an obtuse sort of vibe too. I feel
Flashback is the Walibi Belgium. You're referring to
wait, which one? What's the name of the? What is it?
Crazy. I think it's just called Crazy River.
Okay, theirs is just called Crazy River, but the vibe there definitely I feel like was echoed by Lost Gravity. Like it was sort of a continuation of like a weird.
No, not at all actually, because the Crazy River. You're thinking of Flashback Walibi Belgium, which kind of has the same weird theme.
I've never been there.
Babe, I've literally written. This is my childhood park. Okay. Yes, it is a Yukon Canadian themed log flume that's themed to like some liquor barrel situation, and you go through these like wooden structures. Where the turntables are located. The rest is all outside. There is not any more theming except for just like landscaping.
Maybe I'm
Flashback of Walibi Belgium is the exact same copy of the layout, but it's like water effects in tunnels and lighting effects in the tunnels, and it's getting an upgrade actually to be enhanced in that same theme. That is what Walibi Belgium is like, but the one on Walibi Holland this season was still Yukon. They are actually going to upgrade it to a new theme. I'm not entirely sure what that is yet.
Is it going to be Lost Gravity?
I would like that because Lost Gravity exit is right across from
the future by accident.
Okay, wow,
which would be amazing.
Wow, how Notre Dame from you.
In reality, I guess I'm just mixing up memories with POVs that we watched over quarantine,
which every ride really in the world, sad. Pretty much, because we spent 2 months straight watching videos 12 hours a day. Maybe we just Lost Gravity.
It's also 1:30 in the morning.
Wow. Anywho, say Lost Gravity is a great fit. We really hope to see more of these because they are really, really good.
They're expensive to build.
It's rumored to build a dueling version of this ride side. On our to-hit list is Fat Cyber Plones, Dynamite, which has a really different layout. Starts off really big, has an undertime airground hill.
Undertime airground hill.
Sorry.
Wow, that sounds like the step up underflip.
And then it has a zero G-roll and a really tiny little vertical loop. So we're looking forward to seeing more of these. I want one in the United States. Lost Gravity is one of my favorites. Really, really enjoy that ride. It's just different. You know, Eurofighters are a little more like positive G heavy, but these are really negative G heavy.
Eurofighters are wonderful, but they can be inconsistent. Whereas I feel like with this product line, I'm confident that Mac would knock it out of the park every time. It'll feel sturdy and substantial.
So we're a big fan.
Yeah.
So make sure to check out all of our awesome content on thecoasterkings.com. We've relaunched our YouTube channel. We have Discord. We have an awesome TikTok. Help us get to our next milestone on TikTok. We have obviously all of our Instagram accounts, all of our Facebook pages. So make sure to follow us on the web. Make sure to check out all the episodes on Coaster Kings Radio for the season, and we'll catch you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.